Hi, it's Alaska Granny. We keep hearing we're going to have a trade war with China. We need to prepare. We can't control what happens in the world, what happens in governments, what happens outside of our own circle of our own life. We don't have any control over global issues. So what we need to do is figure out how to be aware of what's going on and then prepare so that should things turn badly, difficult or challenging, we're still going to be okay. Many of us shop at places like Dollar Tree or Walmart, and just because cheap goods have been available doesn't mean they always will. So we need to prepare for the rising costs of things, or things just are not available, or perhaps the shrinkflation that we saw a lot in the last several years, where the package even looked the same, but the ounces were different. And inside, it just was a smaller amount. Packages may have seemed the same size, but if you read the ounces, there's fewer ounces in the package for the same amount of money, or sometimes more money. Just for example, Dollar Tree went from $1 to $1.25. But that didn't mean that the packages stayed the same, even with the 25 cents more. Some of those items became smaller. The food type packages, there was less in them. So not only were you paying more, but you were getting less. And if you look at some of those items over time, you may really realize that the price has gone up dramatically and you have been paying a lot more that you thought were just cheap items that you can stock up on. A lot of those things can still be a bargain and a good enough price, but we need to pay attention that things are costing more and realize what we're actually getting from the dollars that we're spending. Pay attention when you're shopping so that you are aware of what are the shortages, what items are the shelves, they're not there, what items are the prices going up. And if we pay attention to the trends and what's happening, it can help us plan for what are the items I really need to get now, what are the items I have plenty of, and what then do I think might be in short supply later on. Something I've noticed here in Alaska over the summer is you can't get the salad greens. I like to buy them that are already in the packages, the fresh like spring baby greens. They have not been available in the local store that I generally go to for several weeks at a time during the summer. That doesn't have anything to do with China, I'm sure. There are still unexpected shortages that come along when we least expect it. Next, make sure that you're securing your living situation. Not only do you want to make sure that you have secure locks on your home, that you're using them, that you maybe have outside motion lights to help protect you, but then you also want to secure the ability to have your home. Make sure that you are current on your payments. Make sure that you are staying up with your utility bills, your insurance bills, your HOA if you have one. Make sure that you're current on all of those bills. Then you want to stash some cash so that if the electric bill goes up or something happens to your furnace, that you aren't in a catastrophe that you can't pay for those things. Save up cash so that you will be able to pay an unexpected bill or pay the rising price, or even if, say, there's something happens, you get less money from your job, you're still able to make your payment on your mortgage or your rent. You're still securing your living situation. Keep alert to what's happening in your neighborhood. I recently got some of the Ring cameras, and then I'm getting these alerts from around the neighborhood. And it's been shocking to me to see how many people are going around in the middle of the night trying to get in cars, trying to get in homes. We're always aware that those things are going on, but I was shocked at how common it is, and it really made me sit up and pay attention more. And then if you do see something suspicious in your neighborhood, pay attention to what it is and maybe alert your neighbors if you see strangers lurking around or something that doesn't look right. That you, not only you are aware of it, but then your closest neighbors can watch out too, so that you can look out for each other. That's been something that we've done in my neighborhood this summer because we've had some suspicious sneaking around, lurking in the middle of the night situations. So not only do I let my neighbors know when there are bears around, we also let each other know when there are strangers around. Get ahead on your prescription medications and any over-the-counter medications and remedies and all those kind of cough syrups and pain relievers, anything that you count on having. We may be fine during the summer. Then as fall and winter comes, we get cold and flu season, and maybe you want to make sure that you have those kind of remedies. So look over the supply that you have and see if there's anything you need to add to it. Then you can make your list of the things that you still need to prepare, and then you can make a plan on when you can afford to pick up those items. Sometimes we have to budget then to resupply the things that we want. So if we're aware of what we need, then we can pick them up one thing at a time, two things at a time, a few dollars at a time. You get the idea. If you know you need some Tylenol, then you have it on your list to look for it. You can prepare ahead of time if you just keep track of what you have, what you've used, and then replace it so that you have an ongoing, comfortable supply. A lot of the medications come from China. It's just a fact. Even if you think your medication isn't directly from China, the ingredients come from China, and they even go places like Canada, and then they combine those to make that medication from ingredients from China. So there are still complications that we may not even be aware of. I think last year, the year before, there were no children's remedies in cough syrups available at all. If you have small children, that could really be a problem if suddenly you need that and you don't have it and it isn't available. You don't want to face those kinds of hardships, and you certainly don't want your child to go without what they need if you could pick some up ahead of time when things are still available. Add to your food stockpile. It's always a great idea. I know I recently went through and put a new big shelf together and organized some of my longest lasting foods and realized, so for example, I had more rice than I realized, so I have been rotating the rice and using some of it up. I want to make sure that I don't have too much of one thing and not enough of another. And rice is simple to use, so I have also been rotating some of my other old canned foods, for example. So I make sure that I'm using some of my older food and then I'm rotating and replacing it so that I have a fresh supply going forward. Sometimes we get out of the habit of using our stored food because we have this goal to just stockpile and add to it and get a whole bunch. But you don't want to just pile up canned foods and let them sit there for 10 or 20 years. You're going to find out they aren't even any good anymore. Things just don't last. You don't want to have a false sense of security that canned food can last far longer than the date on the end of it. It can last longer, but not always. And you certainly do not want to count on that to find out when you really need that food that it isn't any good anymore. And you're supposed to be storing food that you're willing to use, rotate, and replace. So go through some of your food, rotate through, use up some of that older food. There's lots of ways you can rotate your canned foods. Just get an easy meal going. Use up some of those foods, rotate and replace them. And if you don't like them anymore, replace them with something else that you do want to have. Check your stored water. That's something I like to do during the summer months. Water containers that I filled up myself. Summer is a great time to pour that water out into the garden and refill those containers so that I have fresh water. You can buy some water in containers, but then inspect your containers that they haven't gotten all soft and flexible and it started to deteriorate. That can happen with some of those things as well. Plus, think about even like if you have empty containers sitting in your cupboards, water bottles, canning jars, fill them up with water. They take up the same amount of space whether they're full of water or they're empty, and then you have some additional water stored in containers that you're storing anyway. So utilize the space the best that you can. Think about other types of emergency supplies that you might need more of. For example, batteries. Maybe you want to make sure that you have some kind of a camping stove. I like to use a butane stove, so I try to regularly stock up on more of the butane cartridges. I have a Mr. Heater Buddy. It's the time of year when we think about it's going to be cold again. So I've been getting a few extra of the propane bottles. And boy, that's something that has really gone up in price, are things like propane and butane. So the prices are going up, and if you know you could use those items, get a few extras and have them. We used to always think we needed more flashlights and candles and lighters, but now it's pretty simple to get some high quality solar lights that you don't have to have candles burning in your home. You don't have to worry about things getting knocked over with small children and pets. You don't have to worry about the batteries going out. You can pick up some of the solar items and have those and keep them charged up. It's new options, so it's always fun to look over what are the new things that we can find in, say, the camping and the outdoor department of the store, and then maybe figure out how you can add some of those items into your emergency supplies and your prepping stockpile. Every day we hear alarming news of what's happening with China. We're worried about food, we're worried about fuel, we're worried about medicines, we're worried about electronics. We can't control what happens in the whole world at large, but we can control how we deal with that and how we prepare for the warnings that we're given. Let us know in the comments below. Are you concerned? Are you trying to prepare for a trade war with China? What are the items that you're making sure to have in your stockpile to help smooth the way no matter what the day brings? I hope you'll like my video, share it, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.